Hello, entrepreneurs and self-starters. This is Rick Phillips from Yeti, and you're listening to the Startup Sandwich Podcast, the show that unpacks the bread-winning basics, juicy-filled journey, and secret sauce of entrepreneurship. Let's go. Well, here we are, another episode of the Startup Sandwich. In today's episode, I'm going to read this to make sure I don't screw it up. In today's episode, we learn how Alicia Vianga turned 19 years of working in the hospitality industry into an innovative retail business and empowering nonprofit supporting breast cancer survivors. I'm going to put the paper away. We don't need that anymore.
This is awesome.
Let's learn a little bit about you and what, I guess, let's start at the beginning. Why that business idea? How did you get started? How did you think to yourself, I'm going to create a nonprofit?
I thought, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
I like this.
Me too.
I really do. I think for me, I grew up with business from my mom's side and my dad's side. But I also thought in my retail business, there was a gap. We are certified fitter, and ladies who came in to my business, to the boutique, the ones who had insurance, felt really amazing, look amazing, walk away, and life began. The ladies who did not have insurance, they came in, now they could see, they could touch, they could feel what they need to help them look beautiful and thrive after breast cancer, but they certainly could not afford it. So that's when I started the charity After Breast Cancer to help women who have limited financial resources and no insurance to thrive and feel beautiful about themselves after they've been diagnosed with breast cancer.
And the immediate thought I have is, you would think that the Canadian health insurance would cover that, or Ontario health insurance would cover such an important thing, but I'm guessing no, or at least not fully.
Not fully. The average cost, let's say, for a woman who had a mastectomy for a breast prosthesis is $495. The government cover $195. The government do not cover any of the mastectomy bras, but if they had insurance, the women have insurance, then it depends. Again, every insurance, as you know, is different. But I'm focusing, and we focus on women who don't have insurance. So usually for these women, that is a lot of money for them. And as a woman, I know what it's like for us to put everybody first.
Right.
And even for a woman who have kids, before she look after herself, the kids would come first, and everything else comes first. And so spending $500 or $1,000 on herself is something that could seemingly, for most people, okay, but when you don't have and you have limited, then that is a lot. And, hearing the news that you have breast cancer, it is hard enough. And not being able to afford the things that should make you feel beautiful, again, is a challenge. And under my watch, it is unacceptable. And sometimes we just need to do something. Right. When there is a gap, do something about things.
And that's exactly what the world needs, and what nonprofits and charities and even for-profit business need, is somebody to do something, recognize the problem or challenge and do something.
Yes.
So what year are we talking about that you said, I'm going to set up this nonprofit?
Oh my goodness. I believe it was 2012 we started. So it is, 13 years now or something like that. I don't even keep track. I just go.
Right.
I'm the kind of person who don't like, okay, there's something, you just go for it. But it's, I think it was 2012. We launched at the Toronto Argos game.
Oh.
That was awesome. And since then, we haven't looked back. We just keep going. To date, we've serviced over 5,000 women on the After Breast Cancer program. are all serving Canada-wide, and every single day we see an average between 5 and 10 women. Now, it is it's hard to see that, you know, but at the same time, it is great to know that that support is there when a woman is going to the hospital and she's diagnosed and she's going in for a mastectomy or a lumpectomy. The hospital could send her to a place where she could get the basic things. She's going to a place where somebody thought about her, thought about what she's going to need in her first stages of the recovery system to help her.
It's so important. And I want to go back to this idea that you recognized there was an issue or a challenge in the system. You said, I'm going to do something about it. A lot of people talk about charities and nonprofits being the heart and soul of society. That sounds great. I'm not taking that away from anybody. But there's still a practical application to running a business, obviously. So what did you do in terms of, I suppose, preparing yourself to be this particular type of entrepreneur, this particular type of nonprofit director, or be involved in? What did you do? Did you freak out like some other entrepreneurs and go, how am I going to do this? Or did you know exactly what to do?
Oh, God, no. I freaked out. I freaked out. You become the everything because you don't know. I remember I was in Montreal and I got a phone call from letting us know that we have the charity status. And I was sitting on the window at the hotel going through, I want to say charity, I want to say Charity Village, but it's not Charity Village, but it's the charity part of Revenue Canada. And she's coaching me on, okay, so this is what it is now. This is what your board should look like and all of these beautiful things. And I'm asking all these questions. For the first couple of years, I basically didn't sleep because you are everything. You're the accountant, the marketing. Yeah, I'm up until 2:00 in the morning doing work. But I was also very fortunate in the sense that I found Yeti, who helped me navigate some of the challenging part of running a charity. Doing things that I was doing, but doing it on a different scale, doing it better, not knowing everything that I needed to know. And so Yeti was able to help me navigate that and help me through it as well. So taking that course and what Yeti have done to help me to make life easier as well, to make it seemingly in many ways, even though it's not seemingly, right? But the fact that I had, just as how I said I'm going to start a charity and helping people, that is where I thought in my mind Yeti came in because I'm doing something. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know the rules and the laws and the regulation, even simple thing as my tagline. Right. To have somebody confirm that your tagline is the right one. Don't even go thinking about something else, because I was thinking about something else and you guys said, no, your tagline is perfect just the way it is. Don't think about anything else. So,
sorry, but now you've got to tell everybody your tagline.
Oh, making a difference, right? Yeah. And that's what we do. So it's after breast cancer, making a difference. So that's, it is. It's awesome.
The listeners or watchers of our episodes are entrepreneurs at different stages, from various education and background and ages and you know what. So I always try to ask some questions that they might be thinking as well. And so I want to ask you a question about the board. So as many people may know, a nonprofit or charity has to have a minimum of 3 people on the board of directors. How did you choose? Were you one yourself? Did you pick 2 others? Like, how did you don't have to be specific in names or that, but just how did you decide who was going to be at least those 3 main board members?
I think picking your board members are hard because you're asking people to work for you or to work for a cause, work for something that you are passionate about. Not everyone will see it the same way. However, even today, I met with someone and she goes, I want to join your board, right? Not everyone who say they want to join your board are or should be on your board, because your mission and your vision and what you're trying to do may not align with who they are. A lot of times people join a board because they see, let's say, for example, a social media, and they see things are happening on social media, but they're not thinking about the work that happens behind the scenes. I have been extremely lucky because I have board members who's been with me for over 10 years. And whether they have their own personal stories from breast cancer or their family, or they just too want to make a difference. So I think one of as the founder or executive director for a charity or non-for-profit, one of the most important role that you have to play is picking your board. I mean, like when, for example, John Tory said, okay, fine, somebody said you need to join, and he said, yes, I'm going to join. He was the right fit because he has vision and he has mission, and he would take us to places. Be very selective and careful. Don't get into selecting your board without a lot of thoughts behind it.
It's excellent advice. And we could talk about picking your board for the for-profit world as well. But I think the nonprofit world is a little bit more interesting because, as you know, and hopefully our listeners may know as well, the for-profit, you're a member of the board, you're going to get some kind of money out of this, right? You're going to get some kind of payback. But with the nonprofits and charities, the idea is that the board members do not get paid. I mean, you might get a little bit of travel expense covered, but the idea is you're not getting paid. And so the question has to be, why would they do that? What's in it for them? The classic question, what's in it for them? And as you said, you have to pick those board members carefully and make sure they're a fit, and use the word alignment. And so it's important for that to align with the vision of the organization. So that has to be clear in your communication, right? What is our vision, so that people know how to align.
You could also, because I do this all the time, and I interview people. It is important. I would sit, just having casual conversation. They have no idea they're being interviewed. I'm not. And you could tell easily whether that person will be a good fit for the rest of your team. One thing I always say as well, my board member, my job is to protect the charity and protect my board members. I am their champion. I will protect them. So there is absolutely nothing inappropriate that I would allow to jeopardize these people's reputation and their name. And so the people I'm bringing on board, that has to be their pillar as well. And it's not just to be in front of a camera and to say, I am on a board. And I've seen people who just sit there because they want to be on a board, and that's it. But they have no idea what a board means and a working board. It isn't easy. It's not for everyone. So interview people, have conversation, maybe go out twice, 3 times.
Take it serious.
You'll see. You have to take it seriously.
It's great advice. It's funny, whenever I read the official advice or almost instructions by the government about picking a board, they're always like, do not pick anybody you know, do not pick any family and friends. And everybody I know exactly picks family and friends, at least in the beginning, because you want to work with people that you know and you trust. Of course, as a company grows, you have to meet other people. And I love the fact that you're doing the interviews and once again looking for that alignment. There's a culture fit, there's a skills fit, and there's whatever workload you decide, they have to be on board with that. And that's great. And you even have politicians or ex-politicians on the board. So a variety of people with different skill sets.
Yes, it is important. And I'm a politician myself. I just ran in the federal election and I ran provincially as well too. But I think these are people who usually have visions, right? Vision for the city, vision for the province, vision for Canada. But the right set of people and the right set of politicians as well, too, like anything else.
Right. Well, we have to talk a little bit about politics. What attracted you to get into politics, or was it something that just came about that fell in your lap, so to speak? Tell us a little bit about your journey into politics.
My journey into politics it's funny. My life is does its own thing sometimes, but I grew up in politics and I didn't realize it didn't even dawn on me. Growing up, I'm from the island, and my dad was always in politics, and he would be campaign managers for different politicians. Prime Minister would come to our house like nothing; they'll just show up. My dad will be gone for weeks because he's campaigning. It never dawned on me until one day I called my brother, my older brother, and he said to me, "Oh, you're following Dad's footstep." And I go, "What do you mean?" Because what, you forgot that we were always in politics? You were able to walk into the Prime Minister's office without booking an appointment. I'm like, oh, great. It didn't even dawn on me. But for being in the charity world and knowing that in politics you could make a difference in people's lives on a larger scale, you could affect changes. That's what really attracts me to politics. In a charity, you could do so much. The next step is in politics, you'll do so much more, whether it is provincial or it's in federal. And that's what really attracts me to politics, is making a difference, continuing to make a difference in people's lives.
And I love that you said that, because there's a lot of people, and I guess I'm generalizing, that don't see politics that way, or maybe they're a bit jaded or cynical. A lot of young people say, what's the point of voting? Or they're all the same. I mean, I'm sure I said the same thing. And then as we get older, as life does happen and we get older, our perspectives change. We do realize that there is some actual use for governments, and what if, and how do policies affect me or my business or my charity or my neighborhood. So I think that's fantastic that you are going at it and saying, not only am I going to affect society from a charity's point of view with breast cancer survivors, but now I'm going to go at it from a bigger community point of view. So what is your ultimate end goal with politics? I'm assuming that you're not done. You're going to keep going. So what is it you want to, maybe, is there a legacy you're looking for? I know I'm asking a big question here, but I'm just curious about your vision when it comes to politics.
Yeah, I don't think about the legacy. That's not what I think about. I mean, like you asked that question, it never dawned on me about the legacy. But what's important for me is not to give up. As you're right, I think I'm a different kind of politician, and I'm told that all the time. You're not the typical politician. Even a couple of days ago, one of the executives from the party said the same thing to me. What we liked about you and what we like about you, you're different. You're not your typical politician, and you really care, and you grounded, and you grassroots. Yes, I will run again. When the opportunity comes up, I will continue to stay involved in politics and in the party in itself. I am one of the executive directors for the Conservative Party. I will continue to do that. I will continue to work hard on the ground for people. It doesn't necessarily have to be around politics, but I will continue to work for communities on every level, local and federal as well too. So politics, like law, those are things that I really enjoy. Yeah.
Great. I'm going to swing back to your charity after breast cancer. And a good sandwich, as we know, has sort of the bread and it has the meat or the vegetables inside. I want to talk a bit about the structure of your charity, because a lot of businesses and especially nonprofits start with a vision. Like, we will feed the hungry children, right? Great. But that's not the business, right? That's not a functioning business. That's a vision. So what I want to know is tell us a little bit more about what is it that After Breast Cancer does. So a little bit of the products and service it offers. Just give people a little bit of an idea of some of the structure of it, please.
So it is simple, what we do. And it is simple for some people, but it's extremely impactful. When I say that, so a woman loses her breast. We provide the breast prosthesis. We provide the mastectomy bra. What that does is, I've seen it all. I've seen in the middle of summer where a woman would walk into our boutique or into the office with rocks in her bra, socks, rice, a sweater that is draped over her shoulders, covering the missing parts. Having a prosthesis and a proper bra allows her to look, feel, and wear clothing. She doesn't have to concern herself with, is somebody looking at me? I am not even. My husband is not, I'm afraid to show myself. I am afraid to go to an event or a wedding or a bat mitzvah or even going to work, going to the groceries on a Saturday. And I say it might be simple, but it's impactful. That's what we do. I've seen where a mom and a daughter and her grandchild, mother, grandmother, and child will come in. 3 of them have breast cancer. I see the tears of happiness, because finally they could wear clothes that they were not able to wear. I heard a woman said to me, now I could stand in front of the mirror and look at myself because I could not. We also provide a care kit. So every time somebody's diagnosed, the hospitals will send them to us, and we provide things like a seat belt so that when she's coming in from the hospital after her surgery, that seat belt, because in Canada, it is the law to wear a seat belt. So now there is something that cushioned her from the seat belt and the surgery that she just had. We have everything in there to help her when she get home through her first stages.
So you have great connections with hospitals and other care clinics. When you speak, my aunt had breast cancer many years ago. I'm sure there was a lot less opportunity for modern day prosthetics back in her day, but I do remember that story. When you speak about this, what I'm thinking about as well is the confidence that women must have to deal with taking a hit and then having it restored. Do you offer any resources or connections for mental health or any other type of besides the physical? Because it sounds like that's a lot of the benefit of your organization is providing that confidence again too.
Yeah, and we always say to thrive. And I remember one of my ambassadors would always say, After Breast Cancer is the only charity that puts celebration and breast cancer in the same sentence. We work with places like Shoppers Drug Mart. We were doing a lot of educational workshop, and I call it from the inside out. You know, what kind of vitamins to take, like I didn't know, like you shouldn't be taking grapefruit juice with your medication. So learning things when her nails are gone and her eyebrows and her eyelashes and her ashy skin. Those are things that we work with the breast cancer survivors with, and providing educational workshops. We did stop a bit, but we will be getting back into all of the educational workshop. The mental health about breast cancer, it is tremendous. So we will be focusing on that as well too. Talking about the sandwich, and we all know during the pandemic, during COVID, where we had all of these buses where you go and you get your vaccines and stuff like that. I want to be able to go into communities, all kinds of communities, and make it easier for women to get this. My biggest goal is also to remove the barriers when it comes to screening. We hear the saying all the time that early detection saves lives, but what are we talking about? When is early? I have women who's in their 20s and in their 30s and stuff like that. When you remove barriers, it makes it easier for women to go out and get their screening whenever they want, no matter what, however they feel to do it. So right now we say, okay, fine, 40 years and older there is. But then again, there is that whole sense of barriers that needs to be removed.
And I'm also thinking that the men have to know this as well. They have to be aware. They have to be comfortable to talk about it. They have to be aware of resources as well, because you're in it together, right? As a family, as a community. It's not just one
But
side
men
of it.
get breast cancer as well too, and that is something they don't always talk about. So last year at my gala, I had Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad, who's a breast cancer survivor, come up and talk about male breast cancer. I know it is not as big as women, but again, when men get breast cancer, it's a little bit harder because they don't have tissues and they don't have chest and they don't have the breast as much as women do. So it's usually the harder part, the harder.
Yeah, it's a whole world. I want to ask you, and I hope this isn't an unfair question, but speaking of Startup Sandwich, as you know, a good sandwich has a secret sauce, right? Some sort of special sauce. And so with a business, we tend to think that the secret sauce is some sort of innovation, something that makes it special. If you had to put your finger on what makes After Breast Cancer special or unique, what would it be? What's your secret sauce to the success?
Wow, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, look at you go.
Practice that one.
You did. The secret sauce is, I think, our board, our people. These are the men and women that work really hard behind the scenes to raise money, to make sure that we don't have a waiting list. It might be cliche, but it is the truth. It is our hard-working people, our hard-working interns and the volunteers and the board, the team, the team behind After Breast Cancer, because we would not have been as successful as we are. And I don't like saying that word, but we wouldn't have been where we are today to help so many people without the structure, the guidance of the board. I mean, like, if there is a challenge, I know I could pick up the phone and call any of my board member and ask them questions, and they'll be there.
And I'm just going to assume that the board strength comes from understanding the vision and the alignment that we talked about earlier. So it's a top-down approach. So good for you to make sure that you have a clear vision and getting the right people on your board so that you can use them as you see fit and as society needs them. Very good. I've got two more questions for you. This one is looking for the next 6 months or so, 1 year, anything interesting happening with that charity you want to mention? Is there any growth, any opportunities, any events, anything we can tell our audience to keep an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, like, our Pink Diamond Gala is coming up, and it's always the last Sunday of September. We like to say we kick off Breast Cancer Month, which is in October, with our Pink Diamond Gala. So anybody's listening, always check that out, the Pink Diamond Gala. And as I said, just putting together, we just actually had our She Project. So every year I take 12 breast cancer survivor and I create a calendar. So that will be coming out as well too. But I'm really, really, really excited about next year going back to the basic educational part as well too, to help these beautiful women how to deal with challenges. So
Right, and the chance to talk, to ask questions, to get
yes,
mentorship even
yes.
before. Very good. My last question is just simply, if people want to reach out to you or learn more about your organization, anything, would you like to share a little bit of? We'll share some social media, but if there's any couple sites in particular you'd like to mention now that people can reach out to you or After Breast Cancer, please let us know.
Yes, it is quite easy. It's afterbreastcancer.ca. Social media. So we have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, our website. And then just me, Alicia, at afterbreastcancer.ca. Send me a quick email. And I love chatting and meeting people and talking and just hearing. That's how we all grow together, right?
Well said. And you and I haven't seen each other for a number of years, so what a great opportunity to see you again. We were thinking it was maybe 2019 or so, 2018 or 2019 that you attended the Yeti nonprofit program. So it's really, really nice to see you again and to catch up and to learn more about what you've been doing. And thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The Startup Sandwich.
It has been a wonderful experience, and Yeti is close to my heart, and I take it with me everywhere I go. So when people are good to you, you be good to them back. And you guys have been really instrumental in my growth. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure seeing you again. Lovely being here.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you for watching. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you check out your podcasts. Until next time, keep turning small bites into big wins.